All right, we're back. Tune in next time to more of the music from The Little Mermaid.
Where's me goldfish man?
My Little Mermaid Billy Bell over here on the side. Me, I'm just a big grouper.
Just keep swimming.
I'm waiting for that current, with the turtles and what was it? Crush.
Yeah,
Nemo. You come on, man. Everybody I knew in high school was that guy.
Spicoli.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically, yeah.
I can't tell you how many times this week or even these last 2 weeks because it's been on TV. Fast Times at Ridgemont
Oh,
High has
man.
been on. I've probably watched it about 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, that's such a great movie. When he orders pizza.
Yeah.
Mr. Hand.
Yeah.
Has a name for him. It isn't Hand either. Yeah, it's a great movie. Kind of introduced Judge Reinhold, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah.
And a bunch of them, I suppose.
Yeah. That's where a lot of them kind of
jumped-
made their mark or kind of really then got popular, I guess would be a better word to say.
Yeah. Famous scene from that's on the diving board. They play Must Be Somebody's Baby or whatever. Ended up being Kevin Kline's baby, and I still don't know how that happened. But he's handsome and rich and an actor, and that might have had something to do with it.
Just a little bit.
Well, that's why I don't understand why you're not a gazillionaire.
I like to slum it.
Well, you're just a man of the people.
I'm the super pork chop of podcasting.
There you go. That's good. Bone in or bone out, or is that not from Made and Out?
Boneless.
Okay.
Boneless.
All right. Well, I'll tell you who was boneless last weekend,
Who's
maybe
that?
even spineless. The two teams that Oklahoma and Oklahoma State played.
Yeah.
That's not fair. They had a spine. They just didn't bring it on the bus with them.
Well, it was unwatchable for 2 reasons. One, because
you
of the
couldn't
team
watch.
they were playing. And 2, because it was on pay-per-view for absolutely no reason.
Yeah. Well, you know what? How they do it. And I actually
Yeah.
watched the Oklahoma State game because I have that 4-letter sports place plus.
Oh.
So, yeah, I watched it. I watched the Chanticleers put it on the Jayhawks in a bloodbath, bird bath.
Like, 13-7, right? What happened to the offense?
Well, here's
Like,
something. I told a buddy of mine today at work, we were talking about LSU and the offense they're running and the quarterback they have. And I said, Ed Orgeron finally figured out what Les Miles never could. The passing thing isn't a passing thing.
Right.
It's here to stay. Learn how to throw the football.
But you would have thought Kansas with arguably top 1, 2, 3, wherever you want to rank him, running back in the Big 12, and you put up 7 points.
Well,
What happened?
you know, I don't disagree with you in terms of his skill set and the talent level that he has, but most of the big plays that he was able to make last year that kind of got him on the map were special teams plays. And
Right.
what I come back to is, if they're in the hole, you could be Puka Williams, you could be,
Tyreek Hill.
yeah, you could be
Yeah.
a lot of guys and not get it done. And
Right.
to me, it's so much easier to make us. You come in and Miles is probably doing as good as somebody can do. So
Oh,
don't
yeah,
get me wrong.
yeah.
But you can make a lot of splashes early by signing some kid that might be a problem child that nobody else really wants because they've looked at it, but he'll go to Kansas so it can be D1 that might have a lot of baggage and still make a splash and have people think that, you're turning the program around. It's the 5 interior guys that you have to sign,
Yeah.
and that's harder to do.
Yeah, well, and even so, first year, right? You're not outside of me. You're not going to expect him to blow the roof off the place,
Right. Because he just got blown off of a roof
Right.
in Fanville last year.
Right. Realistically, he's maybe got a handful of guys that he actually brought in,
Yeah.
and that he got to be able to maybe flip, or maybe got a commitment because he was
Sure.
going there. So maybe it's a handful. You can tell a little bit of a difference in the style that Kansas is playing as far as the toughness aspect.
Without a doubt.
But
It still has to
You won't-
manifest
yeah,
itself into
we won't really know Kansas
execution.
just like we don't know Nebraska for Nebraska's case another year, maybe 2
Yeah.
years, and for Kansas' case another 3 years.
Yeah. And we
So-
talked a little about Nebraska last week
Right.
regarding that.
And I still think Frost is the right coach.
You think
It's not
Harbaugh's
that-
the right coach?
Oh no,
in Michigan?
I love Jim.
I know you
I
do.
love Jim
I was
Harbaugh.
just trying to segue over to what
No,
was. Were you working?
Yes, I was. Yes.
I felt half bad, but I just felt like I also needed to let you know that it ended up being okay for you.
Yeah. So what was funny is that as I was working, I got to see it on the lunch, and I was like, oh man, 7-7. Okay. So I come back, and I've got the place where I work, people giving me updates, right? So I'm like, okay. I kind of don't like that too as a fan. Like I've got the game recorded at home.
Oh,
just like
okay.
let me
Yeah,
go back
yeah.
and kind
you
of.
should have told me. and I would've-
It's
well,
fine.
I know better now. Though.
Well, and I was already getting the heads up before you even sent me any kind of text or messages. Was hey, Army's up now. Da da da. I was like, okay, so I get off work and I get off right in time for the end of the fourth quarter, so I missed the missed field goal portion of it.
Right.
But I get off in time to see the overtime portion of it. Very lucky. And I applaud Army in the effort that they showed. That quarterback for Army, unstoppable.
Yeah.
Unstoppable.
Yeah. It validates a little bit more what happened in Norman last year in terms of both how good Army really is.
Yeah.
And second, that maybe what they did to OU's defense last year isn't necessarily quite the indictment, even though OU didn't look good after that in almost every other game. But man, oh man.
Well, if Army, and so Michigan's defense for at least the last 3 years has been up at the top, if not the top defense in the nation, not just in the Big Ten, in the nation. To come do that to Michigan's defense, to even put up more than, I would have said maybe 17 points, maybe in that 14-point range, is impressive. And with that offense where you're going to run the ball 95% of the time, I applaud Army. The thing I didn't like about Army that I think I would say their coach drove him crazy was the number of penalties as far as after the play has been done.
Yeah, that was a little hard to understand. That you don't expect the service academies to be undisciplined.
And I'm pretty sure the same player twice got a after the play foul.
Oh, I remember.
I'm sitting there going, you're in Army and you're getting these fouls. Like I'm sure it'll get cleaned up, but man, that kind of disturbed
One of
me.
them
And it
was out
like,
of bounds, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Wasn't one of them a
some of
play
them were
that
like
happened?
ticky tack. Like the Michigan guy grabbed a wide receiver. They didn't call it, and even before, and the announcers had talked about it. The Michigan's cornerbacks are known for holding a little bit, just grabbing on, and they preached it before
Of
the
course.
game was, hey, watch them, they're gonna hold.
Mm-hmm.
And so they called it a couple of times, but there was one that they missed, and it wasn't even to the guy that he was throwing to. And this guy, I think it was their running back, I'm not for sure. This guy goes off and like just pushes this Michigan kid down and gets a unnecessary roughness penalty. Well, you've already stifled your offense to be when you set foot on the field because you're not going to pass the ball. But B, you're just killing any momentum that you had.
Yeah.
The other
Because when
thing,
they did try to pass it, Oh, go ahead, Bill. I was going to say that I never understood that when they decided there before the end of regulation to throw the football on first down because they were screwed after that on an incomplete pass.
Well, see, and I turned to a guy and I go, when they hit overtime and let's see, Army had the ball. Was that second? No, the second the first time.
Yeah.
Or the second overtime.
Right.
I told somebody, I turned to him, I go, first play, what I would do, re-dive, but fake it, and then go over the top to a tight end or something. I guarantee you that's a touchdown. That's a touchdown every time, and you win the game, and you beat Michigan at Michigan. But first play, he gets sacked. Second play, they run it for like 3 yards, and then the third play, it's over, and then they've got to go for it on fourth down, or they miss it or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I applaud the effort by Army. I mean, it's a very tough game and a very tough atmosphere to go play into, and they did exceptional. They played better than most Big Ten teams do there.
Well, Bill, how much time we got?
About 6 minutes.
Okay. I have some interesting numbers from this last week in college football.
they
I want
pie numbers
want
or
to
like
share some of
fractions?
them for you. Oh, I think you know better than that. We'll
Decimal
have to bring
points.
the other dude in here to get into calculus and stuff
Decimal
like
points,
that.
gotcha.
Check this out. In its 45-38 win at Texas, LSU had 3 100-yard receivers for the first time in school history.
Wow. And you think about all the big names that have gone to LSU, and that's the first time in school history to have
Yeah.
3.
Usually, though, it's one guy, that
Yeah.
is designated, and they run enough stuff up the middle that even if he's in zone coverage, they can get him the ball occasionally.
What I found interesting about that game was most of the game, like, it was real tough going or tough sledding to some degree. And then all of a sudden, the second quarter, halftime comes around. No defense can play it at that point.
It was amazing.
Because then it's just back and forth. We're scoring touchdowns.
I think the offense has literally softened up the defenses in the
yeah.
first half.
Yeah.
That was a fist fight,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I was sitting there with my lovely wife, and she was in the other room, and I'm watching 2 games at once. And I told her, I said, this has the feel of a playoff game.
Yeah, it
It's
does.
a very intense game.
LSU's quarterback a lot better than I gave him credit
Yeah.
for.
Texas hit its first offensive play of at least 50 yards since the 2017 season with a 55-yard catch by Brennan Eagles. Oklahoma quarterback Jalen Hurts has 9 total touchdowns and 7 incompletions
Heisman.
this
Sorry.
season. University of South Florida is the second FBS team since classification began in 1937 to lose at least 8 consecutive games immediately after winning a streak of at least 8 consecutive games. How about this? Maryland's 63-20 win against number 21 Syracuse was the largest margin of victory by an unranked team against a ranked team since OU beat number 13 Texas A&M 51-6 in 1999. Nebraska hasn't scored a point in its past 5 overtimes. Not a point in its past 5 overtimes. Tennessee is 0-2 for the first time since 1988. San Diego State.
1988?
Yeah.
Wow.
San Diego State is 5-1 against the Pac-12 since 2016. Yeah, it's the Pac-12. I'm a big fan, as you well know. Boise State held Marshall to 0 yards in the second half of the 14-7 win. West Virginia is the only team in the country without a run of at least 10 yards this season.
Well, that's not really shocking. I mean, even when Holgerson's there, it would be tough to say that they ran it more than 10
Unless
yards.
they gave it to Austin against OU,
Yeah.
a running back,
Yeah.
and then he ran for 347 or whatever. Oklahoma State had 4 touchdown passes of at least 59 yards. Tylan Wallace had 69 and 75. C.J. Moore, who I told you to watch out for, had a 59-yarder, and Braden Johnson had one of 69 yards. Michigan has lost 5 fumbles through 2 games. The Wolverines lost 3 all of last year.
They say we lost like 3 1/4 last week.
Let's see if I got anything else here. 2 Hawaii receivers have a 4-touchdown game through 2 games. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Just some UCF quarterback Dylan Gabriel averaged 35 yards per completion in a 48-14 win over FAU. Josh Heupel still got those boys playing at a high level, and guess what? I don't know about you, but they host Stanford this weekend. My money's on the Golden Knights.
So, which way did Sky Q pick? Because I'm picking that way.
Yeah, I don't think you can catch him picking that way, though.
Oh,
I think you're going to have to go the other way.
Halloween's got to come sometime.
It's a long season. That's what I'm counting on. I'm just trying to hang in there in the middle, not show off too much. Just kind of be in there, kind of like my C average all the way through school. Don't want to show off.
Still passing.
That's right. That's right. just like LSU down in Austin.
Still passing.
Still throwing it.
Excessive celebration on Crossover Sports. Get that app.